Welcome, Marilyn. Thank you for agreeing to do the program today. So Marilyn Lundstrom is going to do Weaver script, and I hope you had your line guide printed out ready. If not, just use regular lines and a pencil. That's good enough. Hey, Marilyn?
Yep.
And whenever you're ready,
Away
thank
we
you.
go.
Yeah.
Okay, on your screen is a picture. I'm sure this is from Judy Lowood, gave me these pictures, of Gwen when she was here all those years ago. There's a few more pictures, and there's very few people on it that I actually seem to remember. I don't know where they've all gone. Anyway, so I did have a little bit of a panic about this, how I could do this easily and quickly. And so I have this page that I did for you, and so we can write right on this paper. Now the thing is, when I really went back and I looked at what she did, what how she did her strokes, this was one of the first papers she gave us, and it has even pressure and uneven pressure. We're going to deal with the uneven pressure today, but you can do the whole of this hand without it if you want to. I want you to notice the size of her loops, and that all the loops are on that side of the stem. So you have your downstroke, and then the whole of the loop is on that side. There's no loop underneath. That was the first thing. The second thing is that this oval, our O or our A and those things, that is an oval, and it is nothing that looks like a circle. And it is quite elongated. And there's somebody that I was watching on the internet who said they thought it was almost like at 45 degrees. The other thing to notice is that when you're doing this hand, it should be squared off at the top, and it should be squared off at the bottom, particularly when you're using a pen, but the same with pencils. Try as hard as you can to do that.
I'm sorry, Marilyn, I didn't get when you're doing the what? You can square it off?
Yes, when you're doing a downstroke,
Yes.
that the top is squared off and the bottom is squared off. So you have to take a bit of time with it. So when you're making the stroke, you're putting your pen on the paper and bring it right down to the bottom line so that it's squared off. When you're doing it, this is another one of the pictures that Judy took. The first day we didn't do the pressure and release, we just did the solid hand. And so this is a diagram that she had put on the board. And you can see the squaredness, and then well, that's the F, and it goes off on itself, and it's on this side, but yes. I noticed on the A, you're making your oval, and you're going back in and coming straight down. And here again, it's squared off. And the G is, there's no thin or thick, it's just straight down. So, because apparently quite a few people like to do this hand with just straight, without any pressure and release. So I just thought I'd point that out to you to start with. I think this is Judy's again, so thank you, Judy. Okay. And this is her paper that she gave us, which looks very much like the one that I gave you. She has sectioned it off so you see the oval and you see the downstroke, and they're put together, and that's what we're going to do today. So let's go to this sheet. Not particularly happy with my oval at the top. It's a little bit thick, I think, but that's all right. Sure. Yeah. Good. Thank you. So we're going to start not with the oval, we're going to start with the downstroke.
I'm going to zoom in a little bit.
Okay.
So you can see. There we go.
Right. So now I have my own little cheat sheet here. I had a talk with myself this morning at 6:45. What are you really going to do? So I made a little sheet up for myself. So here we are with our downstroke, which is a pressure, release the pressure, and pressure at the bottom. Pressure at the top and down, release it, and come down to the bottom. There's an L, and the L is done just above the line where we're doing pressure and release and pressure again. It's only just above the line. It doesn't go all the way up to the top when it's just above the line. And all the stems on her letters are like that. The next thing we're going to look at is the one under the stem. Now this, and the reason we're going to do that because there's so many letters that use that, and we can put these two together to get our letters. And that is just a light over, pressure at the top and down, release, and pressure at the bottom.
Too much pressure.
Too much pressure. Try that one again. You're going to go up and over lightly and over, pressure, release, and pressure. Pressure, release, and pressure. Yes?
Is the downstroke straight?
The downstroke is straight, yeah. Now we're going to take that and we're going to start writing a few extra letters. So if I take my short stroke and my overstroke here, I can make the word, I'm going to do an H. I'm going to start just above the line, pressure and release and pressure. And then I'm going to start at the bottom and I'm going to go up and over and pressure at the top and come down and pressure at the bottom. There is a space in here. You're not going back up the stem, you're just branching from the bottom of the stem and up. All right?
Do they touch at the bottom, or is there a tiny space at the bottom?
Well, sometimes I've seen on hers that there was that space, but no, I have it just touch beside, yep. And of course, if you can do that, you can do the N, which is one space high, pressure, release, and pressure. And then starting from that again, you could put your pencil right beside the stem, or yes, and you go up in the light, turn it over, pressure, come down, pressure. And that branches out to the M, which is going to be two of those little devils. Pressure, release, pressure. Straight up and over and pressure, release and pressure. And then from the bottom of that, straight up, over, pressure and release. Okay, are you all with me? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Now we're going to throw in something just for fun, and it's the R. And the R is a straight little line with our pressure and release. And then we're going to reach way up here. And we're going to start it there with a bit of a mark. And it's going to come down and touch the top of our R like this. And it's going to have a little bit of a wow to it. It's not going to be straight. It's just going to come down gently, and it's going to touch right in there. Now I've ended up with quite a dark line there. It's actually a lot lighter than that. So dark mark at the end, and then no pressure all the way down to the R. Okay. Now to go along with that, we have the K. And the K is just above the line with pressure, release, and pressure. We go way up there, a little bit of pressure, release, come down more into the middle of the K, and then pressure and release and pressure for the leg. So there's just a tiny bit of a wow in each of those. And then I added into that, I added the T, because the T again is just above the line. But it has a really long crossbar. And sometimes when she's writing, she leaves parts of it out. Sometimes she makes it skip over other letters, so it's on one side and then it's a little bit on the other. I do have a piece that she's done that I'm going to show you at the end. So the T is quite long and it sits on the line.
And is it all hard pressure?
Yeah, I did do that, didn't I?
Yeah.
No, it's going to be light. It's going to be light. Otherwise, it really makes the letter look heavy. Yeah, I knew that too. Okay, so what we should do here is maybe try to write a word. Now, she keeps the letters of her words quite close together. They're not spread out. She'll even tuck the A under, because it's so elongated when we get to it, that she will do some tucking there. But we should try to write ourselves a couple of words. Like, mitt, like milk. That would be a good one. We get to use the K. So we're going to do our pressure and release and pressure. All the way up and over, pressure, release, pressure, pressure, release, and pressure. L is easy, pressure, release, and pressure. And then the K, because it's fun. Okay. Now we'll look at that understroke. That's down below here. And that's just the opposite to the one at the top. And it is pressure, release, pressure, and then it turns at the bottom. With a bit of pressure, it turns at the bottom and goes up with a hairline she has written down on hers. So it's pressure, release, pressure as you're coming into the bottom, and up with a hairline. All right, and of course this becomes a U very easily. Pressure, release, pressure, and up. Pressure, release, and pressure. And you have quite a space in here. You just barely can see that. There we are. And then that turns into the W. So we do our pressure, release, pressure, and up. Pressure, release, and pressure, and up. And then pressure, release, and pressure. Do a couple of those.
On the upswing, Marilyn, is it pressure, release pressure on the upswing or just a light stroke?
Just a light stroke up to the top. Okay. So we could try the word with. It's got that T in there. Right. Now I'm going to put the T and I'm not going to put the crossbar in right away. Do the stroke down for the T and then our stroke for our H. Now that T has a long crossbar. I'll dot our I. And we can start the T, it looks to me, in her work wherever we kind of want to. I'm going to have it jump over the H, so I'll have it started over the I. Then I'll stop and put it in a little piece in there, and then a little piece in there. I should do this on a plain piece of paper. I've got it done right here.
Did you want to pay, please?
So I have put the line over the I, and then filled it in there, and then brought it out over the H. Does that make sense to you?
Are you leaving the spaces there on the side of the narrative of the two?
I have. So it almost looks like those letters are going in between it. I would say you probably could draw the line straight across all of them if you wanted to. But I've seen a couple of spaces where she's done that. Because the T becomes a pain in the neck sometimes. You might only want to make one side of it and then make this very long. And that would come right across the H. And would leave the T. Yeah. Okay. Now where am I? I'm here. Now we get to the A. We're going to go back up and we're going to look at the A. Okay, I'll pull it down there.
Well, you put it where you're comfortable, and then I'll.
Okay. So her A is actually narrower than that. And if you look back on the paper that I gave you, you will see that it's narrower. The O that's beside it is narrower. So you're going to have to start, and you're going to have to go over there, over that way to get that A in there. So it's over and pressure there, coming up and finishing. Pressure down there and up.
No pressure at the top?
No. Now on her, one of the sheets that I have of hers, this is what she says about it. Yes, she says that she does it where there's no pressure at the top coming down, no pressure here. Okay, no pressure there. Pressure in the middle. No, she starts at the top with nothing. Then she does a little bit of pressure in there, then nothing, and then pressure down here. I couldn't do that with my pen. So she's wanting you to do nothing there, pressure there, nothing, and then pressure at the bottom. So you're going to be going nothing, pressure, nothing, pressure, and then around. And I end up with a funny looking A. So I'm just doing no pressure, pressure, and then back up to the top. And then I thought that this O that's here, you can always lay your paper over top of it to see if you're anywhere close to that. One thing about this one here, if you're practicing and it's not looking right yet, you can lay what you're doing over top of that A to see if you're in the ballpark.
No, I'm way off.
Right on?
No, mine
Are they,
they're getting fatter and fatter as I go.
yes, and that's what I found, too. The more I practice it, the fatter the A got. I don't know what that was all about, but anyway. It has to be done relatively slowly because you are really aiming for a place way out there. Sorry. You're aiming for a spot that's way over here. So you're coming away from the line, way over there, pressure, and then you're going back up to it. Pressure down at the bottom, keep it as narrow as you can. What's it doing, Lucy? I know. Yeah. So this is the hard one. There's no doubt about it. And this is used in a lot of the letters of this alphabet. So you've done a couple of those, and we can do one with, we put the little short tail on it, and we have an A, pressure, release, pressure. It looks like you've got an egg that's being propped up by a stick. Mm-hmm. It has that really oval to it. So what else comes out of this one is...
Did that A go, the stick for the A, did that go sideways, or is that just optical illusion?
Yes, it is. I tried to keep it as straight as possible. It is straight.
Okay.
A thought just came through my mind and it's gone again, so I'll ignore it and we'll just go on. Okay, so what are the letters that we're going to need this for? And we're going to need it for, the first one is the letter D. And the letter D, where am I? Yep. Is one of these lovely, and remember you're starting and you're headed way over there. You're headed over there, pressure, and come back up. And then the D is just an L. It's just above the line, pressure, just barely touching, release, and pressure at the end. And if your oval starts to get too big, just give it a good squeeze. So what we're going to do is we're going to write the word toad, because we have to deal with that wretched T that I don't think I know enough about. Pressure, release, and pressure. Then we'll do the O, which is start it way over here because you're headed in that direction. Over there, pressure, and back up. And I'm going to show you hers in a second so that you can see what I'm talking about. And then the A is going to be another one of those where you're going to have to start over here and go way over there, pressure, and back up. And then another one, because the D has that A in it.
already crossed your T?
No, you can go back and do it at the end. Yeah, I think most of the time with calligraphy, you do cross the T's after you finish the word. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think you do. Yeah, now I'm going to cross the T. But you can do what you want. I'm going to not make it too long on this side, and I'm going to go all the way over into there to kind of fill that space up a little bit there. See that with the lines that we've got in there, you don't get the full look of what it looks like.
So when you got the O and the A, they're nestled quite tight, right? Because there's no
Mhm.
line on the O, but the A, the D can't come as close, can it? So
No.
it hits the bar, okay.
So I'm just going to take a second now, and I'm going to show you the piece that I have of hers. So maybe you get a better idea of what this is like. Okay, so look at that A. And A and D, the D is almost touching the N. And here she's dealing with her T. She's got it going across there, and there's a little end of it here that didn't come through on the running it off. Even the D in day, look how short that is. Nestling that in there, and we haven't dealt with these tails yet. But look what she does with those tails. Now we come to the next letter we're going to do with this. This is part of an A, and it's the C. And so you're going to have to do the same thing with the C that you did with the A. You're going to have to start in an area and head across into the next piece there, M and E. And look what the E looks like at the end. You can really see that it's an O. It's an O with a couple of extra lines in it. She has fun with her T, and she has put a loop on it, which fills spots in and makes sure look very, very nice and full. But this part of that loop, that's your F. We haven't talked about him yet. But she's used her T in quite a few places. Look at here. Goes right across there. Look how tall her tails are on her R. Look at what she's done here with the T. You see, you can do, and then she has another one there. And she puts it in just above the H in there. Okay. All right. So you get an idea about what her A's really do look like.
Can we just see the two S's how she did that?
Oh yes, the two S's blossom. And don't they look like seahorses? Every time I look at them, I think. And look how close she's got her O to the M there. So not to leave, because the way the O is, you end up with these big spaces. So she's really snuggles them up as close as she can get them, so you don't leave a whole bunch of empty spots. Okay? There's another one here too. I'll show you at the end if we have a couple of minutes, but yeah. So that's what we're aiming for, and I know it's hard because I know it's hard. Okay, so I turned this upside down. That was probably a mistake. Where am I at? Okay, here we are. So the other letters that are going to go with this A, we will attack the C. So just pretend you're making an A. That's what you basically have to do, is just pretend that you are making, I'll come down.
Okay, this one.
I'll come down. I kind of need it down here anyway, okay? So you're pretending you're making a C. You're starting there, you're going all the way over and pressure, and you're only coming back a little way. Because you would be turning there and going up. And the C is pressurized, so it's pressure at the top, let it go, and then pressure on the bottom. So I didn't get this dark enough in here, but that should be where your pressure is right there. All right, so now if that's how the C is done, then we do that again for the E. Way over, pressure, and coming back. My C had a wow in its back. And it has the pressure, release, and pressure over there. And then her E's seem to be as long or short as you want them. But anyway, start on the outside of the C. Sorry about that.
Okay, no.
And you're coming across. And so it ends right underneath this cross bar there.
Is this just pressure at the beginning of the crossbar for the E and not just at the beginning?
Just a tiny bit at the beginning of it, I think, yeah. I can't really tell by her, and just let me have a little peek here. Yeah, there's probably a little bit of a, you get to here and you go back a bit just to give it a little bit of a definition. A little bit at the beginning and a bit there. And the other one that has this form is the Q. So you are actually going over and making an A again. Where am I at? Oh, I've done it, okay. And then the pressure and release is on the outside of this, pressure, release, just below the line, and that's a Q.
So what, oh, Q.
So we should try writing the word quid. So you're going way over for your A shape. Pressure, release, pressure. And see, I'm really starting to round it out again. And the U. And now we've got to put a D in there, so we want to get it as close as we can without losing its form.
It helps to have a softer pencil.
It does.
These ones that Judy Bushell has.
Yeah, these are nice,
Yeah.
yeah. And it helps when it's a bit blunt too,
Yes.
because you get better pressure.
So what are they?
This is a black wing,
Oh,
and it's the black one in the black wing. And I've noticed as it's getting a bit blunter, I'm much better able to get the. Oh, okay. What a good idea, Diana.
here.
There you go.
That's the one Judy Bushell.
Yeah, I love the black wing pencils.
I'm using the same one, maybe we can ask the girl.
Yes.
Yeah, they are lovely. The only thing is they come in different colors, white, pink, and so on. And I'm never quite sure, because I'm used to B, HB, and so on. I'm never quite sure whether they're soft or hard, or they don't have a really good system like that. It's just a color of the
Pencil itself.
pencil. Yeah, but they are all different. I guess maybe you'd have to look them up and see.
All right, and now that's the end of that. So this O shape, and I'm already myself starting to get that just a little bit too wide. Yeah. You have to go back and just say to yourself, no. Now stop and come up narrow, like that. Really, really, it's more like that. And do our pressure, release, pressure. And then get the U quite close to this. The I right there. And then get another one of those long, skinny, that's better. Okay. So now all we have left is the tails, or are the tails. And the thing that I really wanted to make sure that I did stress was the fact, and I noticed in her work too that these can vary in size, but they all do the same thing. They start from a stem and they are all over on this side of the line. And you are going to have to start coming down early. You'll do your I stroke, and then you come down, and very soon below that line, you're only coming down so far before you're starting this big swoop. So let's see how we make out here. This isn't a good one here either. It's too, as Betty would say, I think puncy or pootsy or too whatever, not good. Anyway, so pressure, release, pressure, start my move all the way around in a nice slow movement. And she comes over a little bit. We'll try that one again. Pressure, release, pressure, start moving early over to there. And it's like a big teardrop in a way, but you just make sure that it's all on that side of the stem. And then the trick after that is to try to get them all so they look the same. Yes. Yeah. So the next one that goes into this family is, and we use a lot, is the G. And the G has our old friend A in it. Way over, pressure, come back, keep it skinny, keep it skinny, keep it skinny. And then pressure, release, pressure, and start our movement. What does that look like? That looks a little weird, so we'll try that again. Anyway, it's what we're doing is the A, pressure, release, pressure, and a big swoop. Because most of this, if I take my pen and go down this way, you can see how much it is past the end of the letter. These are big letters we're doing too. And one more. Okay.
They usually cross over under the body, right? They cross
Yes, they seem to. She seems to have them doing that on her, yeah.
Okay.
Below the line, yep. Now the one that's really hard is the S. Because although these stems here are straight, they're straight coming down, she does allow the S to come out just a tiny bit. So it's a very tiny little top to her letter. And then it goes out, pressure, and then it comes back and does the big swirl. And then pressure, release, pressure.
So Marilyn, with all these loops, is the left side of the loop no pressure and the right side pressure?
Yes.
Hmm.
When it's coming up, once you get down into here, when you're coming up, that's no pressure, yeah.
Yeah.
So a funny little goose at the top, come out, pressure, release, come all the way around. I think this one's going to be better. So what I did on this was pressure here, coming down, pressure there, because I did it very slowly. And then I came around. And
So if you were writing the word bossy, like you
Yeah.
had a double S and a Y,
Yes, that would be.
would you overlap them or what would you do?
I think so. I think so.
I wouldn't write it.
No, pick another word.
I'll do a Y beside this.
It did, yeah. You showed us the.
And then it comes down, pressure, release, and so you would have,
Yeah.
yeah, that would look okay, but now on top of that, you're going to have another one on superimposed on it. Yeah,
So we can go over the previous one to get the rhythm and to
yes.
keep the loop the same size.
Yeah, and to keep the spacing. So often what our problems are is keeping the spacing between these letters.
Mm.
Yeah,
In that quote that she did, she does a blossom with 2 S's.
yeah.
Yeah.
So down here, she has her blossom. And that looks really, they look so much like swans. Anyway,
So elegant.
it is, it's very,
She has a little tick on the top of her S, doesn't she?
well, that's these little pressure release. You know, like, it would normally just be a little tick like that.
Yeah.
But she's doing the pressure, release, pressure. I think I quite often just give it a little tick. Anyway, so the one letter that she has, the Z or the Z, that's interesting because I don't know how she does it with a pen where she's getting, I'm gonna do it like this so you can see it.
Okay, show me where you're going and I'll.
Right there?
Right there, good.
Yeah,
you're good.
so she's got pressure at the front. Well, pressure at the front, release. Starts down, pressure, release, pressure. Coming over here, and then pressure. But if you're using a pen, how do you do that? I guess you could do it like that. I don't know. That one I had problems with too. So it's the simple one. The only thing is that on your Z, it should be pressure over, and then a little bit of a wow. Little bit of a wow like that.
Oh.
I like that.
I've exaggerated it a little bit too much, so I'll go back and I'll do that. And then a wow. So it's up higher. I've got mine down too low there. Pressure. Just a little bit of movement there. And then the last one of all, I think it is the last one anyway. Oh, no, I haven't done X. I love X. Just a second here. Okay, here we are. All right. So I haven't done X, and I haven't done. Yeah, we'll go back and do Y. You're right. We'll do that one again too. Right. Okay. So now I am right here, and the Y is a U. Pressure, release, pressure, up, and then pressure, release, pressure, and way over. Big swing over. Actually, that one is, she really does do a variety of Ys. I don't know why I decided she only does it this way, but this is one of her ways of doing it. And she does use a little different Y when she has to squeeze it in somewhere, too. I'll show you that in just a second. So the X is easy. Maybe that's why I like it. So it's on an angle. Pressure, release, pressure. Then you go way up here, and you go pressure, release, down below the line, pressure. And the V is the same way as the R and the K. Now on my paper here, I was supposed to do it with the same thing, but I didn't. So I'll come back and we'll do the V. The V also is pressure, release, pressure. Reach way up here and bring the leg down. And then I thought, well, but that was way at the top. I thought we could write the word vex with your V. Oh, I'm being bad, aren't I?
No.
Now don't forget that your E is an O. Shape. Pressure, release, pressure. And then another one of these.
So we really tuck the letters close together when we're doing a word.
Yes, it looks like on the pieces that I've seen that she's done, they are close together.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and I'm going to go back into it and I'm going to point this out. Now there is the Y like we've just done, where we come down and a big swinging over. Where did and here's another big one. And look at the one here on the S and the G. But here, that's a little bit smaller. What happens with these things, you lay it all out. And then you go back and you squeeze them all in. And so that's a little bit smaller, but it's still got that same shape. And we haven't done the F yet, which we'll do, but I want you to see that the F is, if I turn it upside down, there's the F, and it's exactly the same.
It's a Y, it's a thing, it's a J.
It's a J, yes, a J. The tricky part is on her paper, she has us starting that from the bottom.
We didn't do the F.
No, we're going to have a little fling at it now.
Mm.
We'll give it a little try now, because in my practicing, where are you, Marilyn? Get over here where you're supposed to be. Okay. In my practicing, I found in my practicing that I could do the F if I did this. I went along the line and way over there and swung around and came back down and put some pressure at the bottom. So if I turn that upside down, where are you? There you are. There it is, the F.
That's an F.
That's an F. So I like to see that there's a little bit of this on this side of it. So almost to alert you to the fact that this is an actual letter. Because if I try it from the bottom, I'm not usually as successful. Way over and then back in. So it is kind of tough. It is kind of tough. You almost want to put a little line in there so you know it's an F. But anyway.
And the bottom part is one whole space, is it? Yeah.
In here, you mean? Yeah. Well, yes, because if you're going to write fiddle, now here you see you're really stuck, aren't you? You're going to get your I in there, and then your diddle. And maybe you'll make a short D's or something, or they are short, so you're going to have those wretched A's again. And, oh yeah, you're safe. You're safe. You can get the diddle in there. Oh yeah, you're safe. And the L and the E. Yeah, so you will be still tucking those into there. She doesn't really have an F in here. She just makes the funny tails on the H's. So what would...
Excuse me, but where's the pressure and release on the F?
Okay, I think it's on the back of it a little bit. So let's go along here again and go way over, and then pressure, and then release, and then pressure. There's pressure at the bottom. That's why I don't know how you start at the bottom with pressure. So pressure just coming down at the back there, and release it, and pressure at the bottom. Whereas if you did come from the bottom up, you would probably put pressure here. Yeah, if you're coming from the bottom and you're going up, as you're coming around here. I haven't noticed that it's at the back. There is no doubt about that. It's a little bit at the back here.
So Marilyn, for the width of the tails, is it like twice the size of like with the G, for example?
Yes.
Is it twice the size of the first little circle in terms of width?
Mm-hmm.
I'm having trouble knowing how wide to do it.
So there's her original one. I wish that these were on lines for us to see, then we'd get a better idea about where. You see, these are quite large. She's coming down to the first one. That's the one with all the pressure on it. So pressure, release, then pressure there and around. So if I turn that into an F, that's exactly where the pressure would be.
Slide down.
Just slide. Yeah,
There you
there's
go.
where the pressure would be is here. So the pressure would be there and at the very bottom. Does that make sense?
Yeah, got it.
Okay. Okay.
Could you send us that sheet that you have there?
Well, I want to ask about that because it's one that it's her sheet. She gave it to us. I don't know. Can I do that?
Not usually without permission.
No. So that's why I haven't sent those to you, because these were actually what we got all those thousands of years ago when she was here. So here's her alphabet. Now, another thing I saw that she did was that she slanted it. There's one of the cards here. She has written it out. This is all thanks to Judy Lowood. She was the one who had kept all this, and she loaned it to me, which I never returned. So I'm sorry, Judy. Anyway, and I know they're Judy's because they're in a nice little envelope in a nice little plastic bag. Anyway, on this one, look at what she's done with the F, just for effect. And these are a little more droopy, but she's filling up a space, I think. They have to have them anyway, but she has started so that they are slanted. So a person could do that with this too.
So if you type into Google Weaver writing style, it will come up with loads of images that you can download for yourself and print, without us breaking any laws or anything. I've just typed in Weaver writing style and that, some of those have come up.
Yeah,
so
and
that's-
there's a, yes, she did. Yeah, she did.
What was her first name?
Gwen.
Gwen, okay, Gwen Weaver.
What was the other thing that just went through my mind? Isn't that awful? Something just went through my mind, which is gone. Oh, I did, when I went into, and kind of had a look, they said that Pinterest has all kinds of this work done in it.
Yeah, the thing is with Canadian copyright, it doesn't, it's in effect until 70 years after someone has died. So you have to wait until 70 years after someone has died before you can start sending
Yeah.
stuff out. But you can go and look it up for yourself and
Yeah.
print yourself a copy.
I kind of thought that, so this one that I did do, this copy here that I did do, it's pretty close to what's on, this is her sheet here, and the one that I did for you is pretty close to that. It's just as I got down to the bottom, I noticed again that here's mine. Okay, but look what I've done with the D down at the bottom again.
Yeah.
You know, I was good for so long and then I just pooped out. Yeah. But you have to keep that consciously in your mind that that's very narrow. Okay, any other questions or?
On her sheet, she had an alternate lovely curly Z.
Yes. She on her, on this one?
No, the other one's there. See,
No, go back up underneath. At this one, at the end. See that nice Z?
Yeah, look what she's done with a Z there. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, okay. It is fun. It says on the internet that this is a fun hand, and people all have their own ways of doing it. But I think the A has to be maintained, or should really try to maintain that A, and the tails. Okay.
Thank you so much, Marilyn. That
You're
was
very
really great.
welcome.
I looked at your hand up and I thought it was going to be easy. Lovely, thank you.
Well, I think I did panic yesterday because I realized there was an awful lot more to it in a way than I was remembering.
Yeah, there was more to it than it looked from the handout, so wonderful, thank you. I'm thrilled with that, that was fun.